OneNote screen is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is where we stopped on Monday. And I told that this is the point from which we are going to start. So we had concluded with this particular topic, behavior of a charge inductor, wherein we had considered an inductor with value L, and we assumed that it was connected to an energy source, either AC or DC, such that the current during that connection, it was flowing from X to Y, that is from top to bottom. So if L is connected to an energy source, either DC or AC, it gets charged. While charging, the current flows through it in a certain direction. We assume that it is flowing from node X to node Y, that is top to bottom. And we said that any attempt to reverse the direction of current through it is faced by an opposition in the form of a high voltage, that is L di by dt, with a polarity which aids the purpose. So inductor always opposes a change in the direction of the current through it. Similarly, a capacitor, it opposes a sudden change in the voltage across it. So we say that inductor opposes a change in current and capacitor opposes a change in the voltage. So again, we had told this particular point in the form of two scenarios where on the left side there is the same inductor. The current during charging was flowing from X to Y, and now there is an attempt from the source side Vs to push the current from Y to X. So inductor charged in a direction from node X to node Y, and now the source Vs is trying to push the current from Y to X. So to oppose this attempt, the inductor imposes a very high voltage equal to L di by dt, and it keeps the polarity such that there is positive polarity below and negative polarity above the that particular potential. And we know that current always leaves the positive plate of the battery. So here this red colored arrow leaving the positive plate of L di by dt potential, it indicates or it represents the opposition offered by L to the attempt from the source side to push a current in the bottom up direction. This is our starting point. So now we again consider that semiconductor circuit, which I will copy and paste here. So we are considering the same symmetric half control bridge with RL load. Okay. Yeah. So I'll be writing few points, giving some narration. So you will come to, and also drawing waveforms wherever required. So as you know that in converter circuits, the input is single phase AC. It has a positive half cycle going from omega t greater than equal to 0 to omega t less than pi, and a negative half cycle going from omega t greater than pi to less than equal to 2 pi radians. And that is why we analyze the operation of any circuit which is driven by a single phase AC in at least two intervals. Case 1 is the PHC and case 2 is NHC. In that also, if we are having control devices which are not fired at omega t equal to 0 radians and omega t equal to pi radians, then again we break the PHC into two intervals. The interval starting at omega t equal to 0 to the instant alpha where the device is fired, and also and second is from alpha to pi. Similarly, negative half cycle is also broken into two intervals, omega t equal to pi to the instant pi plus alpha where the second SCR is fired, and the second interval is from pi plus alpha to 2 pi. So basically in circuits which are driven by single phase AC, and they are having control devices which are fired in both the half cycles, then we have 4 intervals for analysis. So the same approach we are going to use today. So now we know here that T1 is fired at alpha and T2 is fired at pi plus alpha. That is why we have 4 intervals for analysis: 0 to alpha, alpha to pi to pi plus alpha, and pi plus alpha to 2 pi. But understand students that when we were not having this inductor in the circuit, it was very simple that from 0 to alpha, output voltage is 0. From alpha to pi, it is a Vm sin omega t but positive half cycle. From pi to pi plus alpha, again the load voltage was 0. And from pi plus alpha to 2 pi, again it was Vm sin omega t, that is positive or above x-axis. So the operation of a single phase half control bridge circuit with resistive load is very simple, but things become very complex when inductance is added. So here we are discussing where L is small. Okay, so this is operation with a small inductive load. Okay, so some prerequisites for analysis. Equal to pi plus alpha radians respectively. Okay, a few terminologies. We can say that D1 comma D2 are not the companions, they are companions and slave devices in positive half cycle and negative half cycles respectively. Okay, so D1 and D2 are called as slave devices in PHC and NHC respectively. And third, T1 comma T2 are the master devices in PHC and NHC respectively. Why we are calling them masters? Because till they are not fired, the conduction in that half cycle does not start. Okay, I repeat that T1 and T2 are called as master devices in PHC and NHC because in positive half cycle till T1 is not fired, the conduction does not start of the pair, and in negative half cycle till T2 is not fired at pi plus alpha radians, the conduction of the pair does not start. So because D1's conduction is dependent upon T1, it is called as a slave device. Similarly, because D2's conduction is dependent upon T2, that is why it is called as slave devices. That is why T1 comma D1 are master and slave devices in PHC, and T2 comma D2 are the master comma slave devices in negative half cycle. Okay, and just from a rough example that whenever any big person wants to reach somewhere, the servant reaches first, makes all the necessary arrangements so the master can come and he can reside. Same thing or the same concept can be used to easily understand the operation of this circuit. So now what we do is this. So understand one thing that before negative half cycle comes the positive half cycle, and before positive half cycle comes the negative half cycle. So it is all a closed loop. It's 0 to 360 and it repeats itself. That is why we can either start analysis directly from positive half cycle, or we can start the analysis of positive half cycle assuming that the negative half cycle was before that. That is why we can also say here this thing that positive half cycle negative half cycle follows positive half cycle, but we can also tell that negative half cycle precedes positive half cycle also in a system. Okay, so case 1 is T1 is not fired. So we are referring to omega t greater than equal to 0, less than equal to less than alpha radians. It's not equal to, it's less than alpha radians. Okay. So 0 to alpha is the interval we are talking about. And understand that before omega t equal to 0, there was the negative half cycle. So understanding negative half cycle, who were conducting? T2, D2 were conducting. Okay. Yeah. So now we take this point here that negative half cycle existed before alpha equal to 0 radians, wherein T2, D2 were conducting. Okay, this is a something kind of a reverse engineering analysis. Okay, so we never actually consider in circuit analysis negative half cycle before positive half cycle, but because there is an inductor here, we are doing that. Okay, so this is little different. I'll repeat that case number 1 is T1 is not fired. So we are speaking about interval 0 to alpha. Now negative half cycle existed before alpha equal to 0, wherein T2, D2 were conducting, right? So students understand when T2, D2 were conducting, what is the equivalent circuit? Okay, so now what I do is I will say that equivalent circuit when T2, D2 conduct. Okay. Okay. So T2 and D2 have to be replaced with a short circuit. Whenever any device conducts, it is replaced with a short circuit. Okay. And negative half cycle, T1, D1 are not conducting anyways because they are reverse biased. Okay. Negative half cycle is going on. So see now. So negative half cycle line is negative with respect to neutral. Okay. So minus, and we have a plus here, we have a plus here and a minus here. Okay, the point. So we see here with line being negative with respect to neutral, T1 and D1 are reverse biased, so they're out of the circuit, they are open circuit, and T2, D2 is conducting. So now students, the current will flow like this. As I told you that current always leaves the positive terminal, so current will go like this. So drawing the equivalent circuit now. So inductor is charged like this. Okay, current is flowing like this. Okay, so students, this is the scenario at omega t equal to 0. Okay, so at omega t equal to 0 minus means little bit, before the positive half cycle is starting. Okay, so I'll make a point here. T2 D2 were conducting, IL was flowing from X to Y at omega t equal to 0 minus, that is just before PHC starts. Okay, so now students, see what is happening. This is very difficult to understand, so please pay attention. Okay, now at omega t equal to 0, at omega t equal to 0, positive half cycle starts and the live terminal is positive with respect to neutral. Okay, so in case of HCB with resistive load, what happens at omega t equal to 0? As soon as the positive half cycle has started, T2 will get commutated. Okay, how? I'm telling you. See, now we will erase the negative half cycle here. Okay. Okay, everything is erased. So now see what has happened. The inductor will now offer this thing. Plus minus, and now positive half cycle has started, plus and minus. Okay, see now the polarities. T1 is forward biased, D2 is reverse biased, T2 is reverse biased, and this is forward biased. Okay, so T1 and D1 are forward biased. Okay, the polarity is like this. See now what is happening now. So for example, at the beginning of positive half cycle, what has happened is, suppose the potential here is just 1 volt RMS. Okay, the positive half cycle has just started. So say the source side voltage is only 1 volt RMS, and see this potential LdI by dt. Suppose it is equal to 20 volts. See now there is a competition. So here we have plus 1, and here, okay, here what is happening is we are having plus 20 here. Okay, so see what is happening here. Okay, so here also we have plus 20. This is very, very important. So at the beginning of positive half cycle, line is positive with respect to neutral, assuming that it is having a value 1 volt RMS, and here the inductor has imposed the potential of plus 20 volts. So plus 20 volts is applied at D1, plus 20 volts applied at D2. See what is happening here. Okay, what is happening here is that D2 has plus 1 volt at its cathode, but it is having plus 20 volts at its anode. So it is remaining forward biased. So from the source side, D2 is getting reverse biased, but from the anode side, because it is having plus 20 volts, D2 is remaining forward biased. So with resistive load, D2 would have got commutated or turned off, but here because of LdI by dt being impinged at the anode of D2, that is why it is remaining forward biased. Are you getting me? It is like that. So D2 will continue to conduct now. Okay, D2 will continue to conduct here. Okay, Are you getting this? At the same time, what is happening is that now there is minus 20 volts here again. So here plus 20, here minus 20. So here it is minus 20 volts. Here there is minus 1 volt. See now. So T2 is getting minus 20 at its cathode and it is getting minus 1 volts at its anode. So basically the status is T2 will remain forward biased. Okay. Here T1 is not fired at all. So it will remain off here and D1. So D1 is also forward biased here. Got the point? So what happens, student, is that T2 and D1 will continue to conduct. Getting me na? So these two will conduct. Okay. So I can write down here that since T2 remains forward biased in spite of PHC having started and minus 20 volts and plus 1 volts. No, not like that. It's minus 1 volts. Status and D1 being minus 1 volts and D1's status being plus 20 and minus 1. T2 D1 becomes the conducting pair in omega t greater than 0 radians less than alpha radians. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So when T2 D1 are conducting, here the situation becomes like this. So here the load voltage is 0. So here we are assuming T2 and D1 to be ideal switches. Okay. So this is called as freewheeling. So here what happens is the inductor is getting discharged through the T2 D1 pair. So I will also have to draw this LdI by dt here. Okay. So understand one thing, that the inductor is now discharging through T2 D1 pair. So this is called as freewheeling. So the L discharging stored energy through T2 D1 pair is called as freewheeling action. Okay, so we can say that T2 D1 is called as freewheeling pair. Okay, so one thing please note that whenever the subscripts of thyristor T and diode are different, it is called as freewheeling pair, and whenever the subscripts are same, it is called as rectifying pair. Okay, so this case number 1, that is 0 to alpha, is very complicated, so it took a lot of time. So this is complicated. Similar complicated case will come from pi to pi plus alpha. So now we go to case 2 where T1 is fired. Okay, so there is nothing much to tell only about this thing. Okay, so case number 2. Interval is omega t greater than or equal to alpha and less than pi radians. So what happens here is T1 is fired at omega t equal to alpha radians. So what happens when T1 is fired is very simple. When T1 is fired, students, it directly connects the live terminal here to T2, and T2 gets line commutated. Okay, the situation is like this. Live, neutral, positive half cycle is going on, and it is a good amount of voltage. So now alpha it is fired, and here we are having T2 which is conducting. So it's like this, and this is D1, this is T2. Okay, so what happens is that this guy acts as short circuit, T1, like this. Okay, we see here it directly transfers this positive potential here, and the SCR will get commutated. Okay, so we can write here as soon as T1 is fired, it connects the live, that is positive terminal, to the cathode of T2, thereby commutating it. So the incoming thyristor T1 pushes T2 outside. Okay, so we can say here that T1 incoming T1 pushes T2 out. Okay, commutating it. Now it is just like R only, R load. So T1 D1 becomes the conducting pair, and this interval, okay, forgot something to write, because conducting pair RL load gets connected to the positive half cycle, and now VL is equal to Vm sin omega t. Okay, that is why we say that this interval is called as a rectifying interval. Why rectifying interval? Because output is equal to Vm sin omega t. This is called as rectifying interval. और यहाँ पे it is called as freewheeling action. So we can say here the last point T2 and D1. So subscripts of thyristor and diode are different, so freewheeling. When they are same, it is called rectifying. So if you have T2 D1 freewheeling, if you have T1 D1 rectifying, T2 D2 rectifying, T1 D2 again freewheeling. Okay, so again I'm highlighting it here. The subscripts of thyristor and diode are same, so it becomes the rectifying interval. Okay, now case 3 is exactly same as case 1. So case 3, so it is the interval omega t greater than pi radians less than equal to pi plus alpha radians. Okay, so now what do we consider? Just as in case number 1, we considered omega t equal to 0 minus, so we have to consider pi minus. Consider the instant omega t equal to pi minus T1 D1 where conducting the load current was flowing from X to Y. Okay, at omega t equal to pi radians, negative half cycle has started. Okay, negative half cycle has started here. Okay, so who were conducting before? T1 and D1 were conducting. Okay, so now theoretically when the negative half cycle starts, T1 is supposed to get commutated. Okay, negative half cycle starts because T1 is receiving minus here, receiving minus here, this is plus, so it is plus here, this plus here. So actually T1 is supposed to get commutated, but what happens again is that it is actually effectively forward biased because of that. Okay, so now what is happening here? This negative 20 is now coming here. So here there is minus 20 and here there is minus 1. T1 conducts and T2 is not fired, so T2 is already off because it is not fired. So without applying a firing pulse, SCR cannot conduct. So this is off because it is not fired. Okay, and this is supposed to get commutated, but it is receiving minus 20 volts from this side and minus 1 volts from the source side. So what will happen is that it will continue to conduct. So that is why this is supposed to conduct. Okay, so this remains forward bias is conducting. Okay, so now D2 continues to conduct. Okay, so D1, D2. So D2 will start conducting now. Okay, so now we are having plus 1 volts here, but this is plus 20 here. Got a point. So we can make a comment here. T1 is expected to commutate at omega t equal to pi radians because it is the illegal half cycle for T1, but its status is like this. Minus 1 volts at anode, minus 20 volts cathode. Okay, that is why it is forward biased. So now the diode D2 starts conducting. So now T1 D2 is the conducting pair. Okay, and the status becomes like this. Again we see a freewheeling action but through T1 and D2. Okay, so now in this case again we can say load voltage is equal to 0 volts. Okay, so we can make a similar diagram here. Case number 4. Omega t greater than pi plus alpha radians. Okay, so here similar to case number 2, what happens is that incoming T2 pushes T1 out. It joins the slave, joins already conducting D2. So now T2 D2 become the conducting pair. So again I'm mentioning the subscript of thyristor and of the diode are same. That is why we say this is the rectifying interval. Okay, this is again rectifying interval, and here load connects to the source, so VL is equal to Vs. Okay, summary is like this. Interval 1, 2, 3, 4. Duration roughly we can say 0 to alpha radians. So basically duration of omega t, alpha radians to pi radians, pi radians to pi plus alpha radians, conducting pair. T2 D1, alpha 2 pi is T1 D1. Here it is T1 D2. Here it is T2 D2. Interval type. Freewheeling. Rectifying. It's very simple. Wherever you find different subscripts for thyristor and diode, you write freewheeling, right? So another such pair is here, 1 and 2. So you can write down freewheeling here. And again, we can see here, subscripts are same. You're at rectifying. So 2 and 2, rectifying. What is the value of load voltage? VL. So wherever there is freewheeling, you write 0, 0, 0, and it is wherever there is rectifying. Okay, very simple. This is the summary now. Hope it is clear now. Exactly same as with RL load. What do you mean when we say that exactly same? That no negative portions in the VL waveform is very important, the student. No negative portions in the VL waveform as found in half wave control rectifier. Negative portions in both illegal half cycles are removed due to, this is very important, so I'm writing it in uppercase now, due to internal free wheeling action. So internal freewheeling means this T1 D2 comma T2 D1. Last point, that a half control bridge or a semi converter does not need an external freewheeling diode as 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 freewheeling action is internally present.